When we're young, we seem to think that the road in front of us is long and broad and well lit. And then one day, as we get older, we look around us and we say, how is it that the road got so narrow? And we start to look back and we look at all of these forks in the road that we could have taken, or forks in the road that we took and there was a roadblock. We think about the choices that we've made in life and the consequences of those choices. And we think about other people's choices and how those consequences have affected us. And often we look back as we grow older with satisfaction, and sometimes with regret, and sometimes with happiness, and sometimes with sadness. But throughout, I think that most of us are always asking, why? Why did things turn out the way that they did? Why did God allow certain things to happen and not other things? God has a lot of hidden secrets. And when we look at the story of Joseph, we see those secrets. We see an example of that. At 17, Joseph was a young man, a favored son. His road was big and broad and wonderful. And then one day, everything just turned upside down. He was no longer the son of a prosperous man, the favored son, but now he was thrown in a cistern, treated badly by his siblings. He was made a slave in Egypt. While there, he was falsely accused and falsely imprisoned. And while he was imprisoned, he watched other people reap the benefits of his prophecies. They were released and he was not. But what's interesting is he has faith throughout. There's this thread of faith that just goes right throughout Joseph's story. You never see him wallowing in self-pity. You never see him blaming God. In fact, he shows more concern for other people than he does himself. He even says to one of the prison guards, "Why do you look so sad today?" and offers to help him, which is really pretty amazing. But he never blames God. He holds that faith. And then in one day, everything flips again. Suddenly he's taken out of the prison. And instead of slave, he's now a prince. He's the second in command. And instead of wearing iron chains and rags, now he's wearing fine linen and gold. He's given an Egyptian name, an Egyptian palace, an Egyptian wife. He is thoroughly Egyptian and he is elevated. Again, there might be some times where he says, why? But then one day, those brothers that betrayed him and treated him so badly 20 some years before, they show up. They arrive. And you must have imagined how Joseph's mind churned when he saw them, because they didn't recognize him, but he recognized them. So God certainly has his secrets as to why he allowed these things to happen. But what also is going on here now is that Joseph has a secret. He knows who they are, but they don't know who he is. And he takes care of them in a very magnanimous way. But he also wants to know where their hearts are. Have they changed? He's changed a bit. Have they? He wants to know. So he puts the youngest son of Jacob, the youngest brother, Benjamin, in peril. He wants to see, what will the brothers do? Will they protect him or will they abandon him? And he is delighted to see that they protect him. And so there is a very happy and joyous, full reunion, not like the Esau-Jacob reunion where there was still tension there. This is a full, happy family reunion. Forgiveness and restoration are on the table. And so Joseph was in a position to say, I'm the governor, and now I can harm you the way that you hurt me. Or he can say, I'm your brother, let me welcome you. And he welcomes them. And so Jacob, who is now Israel, brings his family to Egypt. And there they are, in Egypt. That's how Israel came to be in Egypt. But the point is, what allowed all of this for Joseph? And the answer is faith. He knows that life is shaped by God, not by chance. Joseph believes that life is shaped by God, not by good and evil. And Joseph knows that life is shaped by God. He works in secret to bring all things to his purpose. So he even says to his brothers, you meant something for evil, but God used it for good, and he does. The last thing I want to say is that sometimes secrets are revealed. I know that one day when I'm in heaven and I meet God, that I can ask anything I want and the secrets will be shared. But sometimes we get a little glimpse of a secret here on earth. And I would say that in this case, God's secret actions, the purposes of them are revealed in the story. I think the first thing is that we see a change in Joseph. Because he's gone through this experience in Egypt, sort of sheds his self-importance. He's no longer the favored son. We see him at the beginning, he's a little bit arrogant, bragging to his brothers, but all of that is lost in his time in Egypt. His self-obsession is gone. He becomes more caring of other people. He changes in a positive way because of these negative experiences. So I think that's one of the little secrets that's revealed. But the second, and this is important, is that God's covenant is preserved because of Joseph. Remember the covenant of land and seed and blessing that God made with Abraham, that was passed to Isaac, it was passed to Jacob, and now it should be passed from Jacob to his sons. It's really, really important. And so, what if those boys had not come to Egypt during the famine and met Joseph? What if they had met a different governor and begged for help? They may not have received the warm welcome and been given the help that Joseph gave them. They might have died because of the famine, because it was a famine that brought them to Egypt in the first place. They were looking and seeking help. If they had all died, the covenant would not have continued. And so God, working in secret, preserves the covenant through Joseph. Isn't that interesting? I challenge you to read the whole story of Joseph and see if you can find any more hidden secrets. So the word today is that God bends the worst facts to his ultimate purpose. No matter how bad things get, and it can be really awful, I know. All you have to do is turn on the news. God will bend the worst facts to his ultimate purpose. If you've ever been there in the moment when God has revealed a secret action to you, you know that feeling, and it happens for everyone who has faith. You feel God's ultimate power, you feel his healing purpose, you feel his secret revealed, and just for a moment, there's no sound. You just feel this lightness, this gravity does not weigh you down for a moment. You feel peace and light and air. Wow. And so I want you to hold on to that, because when you are in heaven, all secrets will be revealed. And I think that we'll spend eternity feeling that lightness. And that's something to look forward to. So as you go along the path of life, no matter how narrow the road becomes, no matter how dim the light, move forward in faith.